Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. So I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Give honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all Israel, whether they can accept it or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hope for the elect. And shalom to the Aquas who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Solano Camp, coming into another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another day edification, Lord willing, this be edifying. So I titled this lesson, The Apocrypha was removed for this reason. Now, I was listening, the lesson I did today, I went into first Maccabees and second Maccabees, like how Israel, the reason Israel became Gentiles. So after I finished my lesson, I was listening to a video from Elder Malcolm out of Chicago. And after his video went off, Elder Manat Zakbar video came on. They camp video, it was titled Set Thy House in Order, right? The Lord is about to return, right? So Elder Manat Zakbar said something to this guy that came up to the camp, right? Inquiring about the Apocrypha. He said something that I knew, but I didn't really realize. He said, and I bring these scriptures out all the time. Well, it's been a minute since I brought them out. But I used to go to Daniel, the second chapter a lot, right? In Daniel, the seventh chapter, explaining the four beasts, right? So when I brought up the lesson yesterday, Maccabees chapter 1 and chapter 2, about how the Israelites became Gentiles, that was the reason why Yahushua sent Paul, right, to these Israelite foreigners, because they became Gentiles, starting with the Greeks, because we didn't know that we was Israelites. Salaki, let me rephrase that. We knew that we was Israelites in every other captivity, right? But when it came to the Greek Empire, all the way to the Roman Empire, right? We had started following the ways, first and foremost, from the Greek Empire. So what he said was, where does it mention in the Bible about the Greek Empire? Now, when you go to Daniel chapter 2, which I'm going to read, when you go to Daniel chapter 2 and Daniel chapter 7, which is also in Daniel 8, when it talks about the rough goat, right? Talks about the he goat and the ram, right? The ram being the Medo-Persian Empire, and the he goat, which is the Greek Empire, Alexander the Greek. Where does it mention in the Bible about the Greek Empire ruling the earth for a period of time? It mentions about Alexander the Great and them conquering the Medo-Persian Empire. But where in the Bible does it break down their rulership? It doesn't. It's in the Apocrypha. So when Elder Manat Zakbar said that, and I already had these precepts ready to go, because in my lesson earlier today, I said this devil, the dragon, I said it wrong. I said he spake like a lamb, right? But it say he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon, meaning the whole point for their draconian laws, their policies, their legislations, right? So I said I'm gonna do a part 2 to the lesson I did today, but then when I was out my video, which is the spirit, because I had all these scriptures ready to go, and that just sealed it for me. Like, man, like I knew it, but I didn't realize it. Because in this Bible, let's deal with this. When he said that, where in the Bible does it mention about the Greek Empire ruling the earth? When did they rule? How will we know that Alexander the Great ruled the earth. If we don't read it in the Apocrypha, we wouldn't know about it. Now we know about it because it's in Daniel chapter 2, it's in Daniel chapter 8, and Daniel chapter 7. But when did it take place? Let's read this. It's cold, man, because my lesson was going to be about how they spake like, they spake like a dragon, right? They're soft words, but they deceiving at the same time. This was the Lord, man. So let's deal with this. This is Daniel 2, and I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse 37. Let's start at verse 36, cause this is cold, man. I didn't like much as I go into the book of Daniel, man. Every time we're dealing with these other nations, right? This never dawned on me how it dawned on me after I heard Benadazar mention this. So it's beautiful, man. And that's what the Lord set us up with spiritual fathers, the apostles, and our elders, man. This is Daniel 2 and 36. And it reads, this is the dream, and will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Now, this is what Daniel telling the king of Babylon, right? And whithersoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thy hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold, right? Which is the Babylon. Now we know about the Babylonian Empire, right? Because we were there for 70 years, right? Right. This is verse 39. After thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, right? Which was the Medo-Persian Empire. And we know about the Medo-Persian Empire because they took down Babylon, and we were still in captivity, right? Under the Medo-Persian Empire. Darius and Cyrus the Great, right? Right. And the third kingdom of brass, which is who? This is the Greek Empire, which shall bear rule over all the earth, right? Where is this mentioned at again? We're going to read it. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Now, this is talking about the revised Roman Empire, which is Babylon the Great. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, who Esau Edom shall mingle himself with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is mixed with miry clay. Now, this is talking about North America mixing themselves with the seed of men. Who is this? It's talking about Esau Edom. They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with miry clay. So this talking about EU, NATO, and Babylon the Great, the hardest is on the scarlet colored beast. The point I'm trying to make in this, when Daniel told the king, and another kingdom, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Who is this? He's talking about the Greeks. Let's read it. This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and four beasts came up from the sea, divers one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was left up from the earth, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, that's talking about Babylon. And behold, another beast a second like a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in its mouth, in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said, thus unto it rise devour much flesh. The three ribs is talking about Egypt, Babylon, and Lydia. Okay? This is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, right? After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, which was the 4 generals, right? And dominion was given to it. That's talking about the Greek Empire. So this is the second time from Daniel chapter 2 to Daniel chapter 7. It mentioned the Greek Empire, right? And after this I saw the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces. When you read in Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 6, it's talking about the Roman Empire. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 6, down to like verse 9. Tell you how dreadful they were. It said again, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, right? As a matter of fact, listen to this. It's Habakkuk 1 and 6. It reads, for lo, I raised up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which is talking about North America, Babylon the Great, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Same thing I'm reading right now in Daniel 7. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Let's go back. Daniel again, 7. I want to make that point. It's Daniel again, 7. In verse 7. After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth, and devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Now it said, after this I beheld, and lo, like a leopard, and I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now, this is Daniel chapter 8. In the third year, it's Daniel 8 and 1. In the third year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in the vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulah. Now, Shalom to the occupant I walk from the comment board. Yahweh Shema Shop Rock Thump, the water for tuning in. Now, hey, Shabbat Shalom. Now, this is going into Alexander the Greek and the king of Elam, right? It's a verse 3. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last, which is talking about who? The Medo and Persian Empire, right? I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, which is about the bear in Daniel 7, right? He devoured, he stood up on one side, right? And he had 3 ribs in his mouth, which the Medo Persian Empire conquered Babylon, Egypt, and Lydia, right? It say, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground, and the goat had a noble horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power, And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. It's talking about Alexander the Great reigned what 12 years, then he died. And for it came up four noble ones towards the four winds of heaven, which was his four generals. Now listen, and out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great towards the south, and towards the east, and towards the pleasant land, which is Jerusalem, Israel. This is talking about Alexander the Great. Okay, Salakia, Antiochus Epiphanes, verse 10. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. This is what I read yesterday. When this devil came back from conquering Egypt, he took down Jerusalem. It said, yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down, and an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgressions. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint saying unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot, which we read yesterday. Now listen, this right here is talking about the Greek Empire. When in this Bible did they show, where is the scriptures to prove that Alexander the Greek reigned the earth and ruled for 12 years? Where is it at, man? Now, we know for a fact, Babylon reigned on the earth, right? The scripture right here in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, right? 70 years he was in Babylon, right? From what it was, 586 BC, when they took reign over Jerusalem. Now, we know the Medo-Persian Empire took down Babylon, and we were still under them, right? It tell you that in Nehemiah 4 and Ezra chapter 4 that Cyrus and Darius let us go back and build Jerusalem, right? Now, when you think about from Babylon to the Medo-Persian Empire, this Bible jumped straight to the Roman Empire during the time of Yahushua, Peter, and Paul. Where does it mention the Greek Empire? It doesn't. It's in the Apocrypha. And these devils took it out. Why? Because that was their first reign of ruling over the earth, man. They had to remove the Apocrypha because that was the beginning reign of these devils taking root in the earth, man. Right? So, let's jump to this. This is Daniel 8 and 20, making the point. The ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. You see this? And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policies also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. This is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes, man. When you read the story in Second Maccabees, they tell you how the Lord destroyed this devil, man. Okay? Tell you that his flesh was falling off him, right? Worms was coming out of his body. It tell you that his men couldn't even stand his smell. So the point of this lesson, where in the Bible did we fall under the Greek Empire? It mentioned Alexander reigning and conquered all the known world, right? Let's read it again. Daniel 7 and verse. This is Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it, right? In Daniel 2, it says this about we talking about Alexander the Greek right now. Daniel 2 in verse 3, it say, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Now, where does it mention? This is the point of this lesson. Where does it mention about the Greek Empire other than Daniel 7, Daniel 2, 7, and 8, man? I'm talking about us being under the Greeks. Where is it mentioned at? It's in the Apocrypha. These devils remove the Apocrypha because it exposes these devils in their first reign on the earth. Now, let's deal with this. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And it reads, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And I want to correct this because earlier I said he spake like a lamb, but and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. This is talking about the revived Roman Empire, which is Babylon the Great, North America, right? It's saying he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which is the Roman Empire, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. That's the Roman Empire coming into the revived Roman Empire, which is North America. And they tell you that in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. Let's read it again. It say, this is Daniel 7 and verse 14. Daniel 7 and 13. Now I saw in the night vision, and behold, Salakia, Daniel 7 and verse 7. And I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the other beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, which is who? British, French, and the Spanish. Those 3 horns was plucked up by who? North America. Okay? It say, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. That was the point. Now, back in Revelation 13 and 11, making this point. So it say, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, this is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 30. Just making this point. It say, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. It's talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. It say, First Maccabees 1:30, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. Making the point about how they speak through their policies and their legislations, right? This is Psalms 55 and verse 10. Psalm 55 and 20. It reads, he have put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawing swords. So the same thing they did with the conquistadors and the Spaniards, right? They made these peace treaties and they break them. This devil been doing this way before uh, they came over here to North America, man. Hey, shalom to the argument I walk from the comment board. Yahweh Shema Shah Brakatham. The water for tuning in. Hey, shalom, Alaska, shalom. Yahweh Shema Shah Brakatham. Brakatham. So this devil been breaking his peace since they can't keep peace, man. Tell you in Isaiah 26 and 10, let favor be showed to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. Right? So it say, he hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawing swords. So these devils, man, took this Apocrypha out because that is the rulership of the Greek Empire. And it didn't dawn on me that these devils actually took this book out, man. Hey, it's more than that. But that was the first reign of Alexander the Great, man, of the so-called white man. And if you don't understand his history, when you read it in Daniel 2, when it said the third kingdom shall rise of brass and they shall rule, right? They shall bear rule over the earth. Who is it talking about? So explain it in Daniel 8. It said, what? The ram with the two horns was the Medo and Persian Empire, and the he goat was the king of Grecia, right? So where is this account at other than the Apocrypha, man? It's not, man. You had to go look it up on Google. So these devils remove the history of their ass taking flight in the earth, man, taking root with their wicked asses, man. So this is Daniel 8 and 22. It reads, it say, now that, select it. It said, now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, for four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power, right? This talking about the four generals that came up after Alexander the Greek, right? This is the point I want to make. It say, and his power shall be mighty, going back to Antiochus Epiphanes, which I read in a lesson I did yesterday. It say, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. This is the same thing they doing today, man. That's why we know who they are, man. These devils has never deviated from um their blessing. They have never deviated from their blessing. Because Daniel 7 say this. This is Daniel 7. It say the same thing. Daniel 7:23. Then he said, the fourth beast, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, which is the Roman Empire, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom, it say, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom, and 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, which is who? British, French, and the Spanish. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Now, this is talking about the revived Roman Empire. Because it say, let's read it again. Daniel 7:23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Now, this is up in Daniel 7, talking about the 3 horns that were plucked up, British, French, and Spanish, by North America, right? Verse 25. This is talking about North America, Babylon the Great, these prideful as devils. He shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints, which they do in everything, man. Chemtrail, GMO foods, contaminated waters, the transformers everywhere. And you know how I was thinking about this earlier. Do you know how stressful and how much it wears you out to try over and over and over to warn your people to repent over and over and over? Because everybody that came to the truth try to wake up their family first, right? Over and over and over. Hey, this will literally drain you, man. Trying to warn your people, not your family, but your people, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. It wears you out over and over and over and over. But this is the will, and we love doing. This is our duty to do. This is our reasonable service. But it wears us out over and over and over, constantly trying to drill Jake to wake up. They have been so brainwashed, man, by plantation Christianity. This is another reason why I say, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. On top of going to the plantation, on top of trying to eat best as possible. You trying to, accumulate your money so you can go to every now and then, or much as possible, go to Whole Foods, trying to hit the health stores so you can keep these different things in your crib instead of trying to go to these devils to get these chemical drugs that's killing us. So it's a constantly wearing out the saints, man. It's and shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and law. That's another wearing out, man. We on this Gregorian calendar, it's off, so we trying our best. That's why the Lord gave us spiritual fathers, man, so we can follow and keep up with these Sabbath days and these holy feast days to the best of our ability, man. This is wearing us out, man. This is wearing out the saints, man. These devils constantly changing time, right? It's saying think to change times and laws, that and they shall be given into his hand unto a time and times and a dividing of times. You see this? These devils is working overtime, man. That's why we try to tell Jake constantly, man. These devils is working overtime to destroy you, man. So as it's saying Baruch 4, what is that? 4 and 28. Seeing we repent, we rent straight, we are strayed from the Lord, man. Hey, be in return, seek him 10 times more, man. Because these devils, their job is to vex, accuse, destroy us, man, and take down many of you Jakes as possible, because they know that they're going down. They just don't know when or how, but they know they're going down, man. This is a constant wear out of the saints, man. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 11. I'm gonna start at 38. It reads, 2nd Ezra 11 and 38. Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, are not thou it that remainest of the fourth beast, who I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? Just like it say in Jeremiah, what that Jeremiah 15:45, right? It said that the least of the flock shall draw them out. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. It's Jeremiah 15:45. It reads, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his proposals that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Who? Edomites, right? So back in 2nd Ezra 11 and 39. Are not thou it that remainest of the fourth beast, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times may come through them? You see, Edomite on Edomite. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit, for the earth has thou not judged with truth. That's why I said in James 2:13, hey, you will be judged with no mercy that showed no mercy, man. Verse 42, but thou hast afflicted the meek, Israelites. Thou hast hurt the peaceable, Israelites. Thou hast loved liars, right? Following the ways of these heathen customs, because you are a heathen, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, Israelites, and has cast down the walls, Jerusalem, of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up to the highest. What wrongful dealings? As it say in Isaiah and Salakia, as it say in Jeremiah 51, and was Jeremiah 51 and 8, and Revelation 18, that your sins have reached to heaven. This is three times it's mentioning your devil's sins reaching to the heavens, right? Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up unto the highest. Let's prove that. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 8. It reads, it said, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her, take bond for her pain. If it so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one to his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up to the skies. Let's get another one. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, and be ye not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and power have remembered her iniquities. That's three times the Lord made confirmation that your sins have reached unto the heavens, man. Back in 2nd Ezra, chapter 11, and verse 43 again. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. Your pride, right? You got Ezekiel 28, and you got Obadiah 1 and 3. That's another three scriptures about you devil's pride, man. Right? This is verse 44. The highest also have looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And that's why we know, as it say in Luke 21 and 24, in Revelation 11, right? 4 and 2 months shall you tread the city until the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled, man. It also said in Daniel, man. See, you devils, the Lord got you numbered, man. He got you numbered to the fine print. All the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, man. And only the hopeful elect will understand these sayings, man. So this is, but the point I want to make of this lesson, when, where in the scriptures, other than Daniel 2, 7, and 8, does it mention a third kingdom ruling? Where in the Bible did they rule? We know about Babylon, Medo-Persian Empire, and straight to the Roman Empire. Well, what happened to the third king that's supposed to rule? Why is it only first king, second king, fourth king? Where is the third king? They took it out the book, man. Why? Because that was the beginning of their rulership. And they want people to just really feel like, okay, so we're going to fast forward from Babylon to Medo-Persian Empire, straight to the Roman Empire. Okay, so who Paul going to? Oh, he going to everybody. Everybody can know he going to the Israelites that was forced to become Gentiles, man. That's why these devils took it out. Because if the Apocrypha is in the book, then that shows you, reading from one to another, why the Israelites became Gentiles, man. These devils, man. But you know what? Let's get this first. What did the Lord say? You devils can't hide nothing, man. Because he said what in Job? Hey, he see everything, man. Hey, whether it's in the dark, you can't hide from Yahweh Shem Shah, man. You can hide from us on earth for a moment of time, but you can't hide it from Yahweh Shema Shai, man. This is Matthew 10 and 26. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. This is Luke 8 and 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. This is Colossians 1 and 26. It reads, even the mystery, even the mystery, which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. You can't hide the truth from the truthfulness, man. We are the truthers of the earth, man. Lord willing, we be of that number, man. That elect number, Lord willing, man. You can't hide truth from the ones who it was created for, man. You devils have lost your marbles, man. Your meat is out of your taco. Your cheese has slid off the cracker, man. If you think you can take this truth and hide it thus far, man, this is not yours, man. It was given to the saints, even the mysteries which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. And this is why these devils have to come down with great wrath, man, because the truth is out, and the apostles told us the stories, man. The apostles told us the stories, how these devils rolled up on them and asked them how they got hold of this truth, man. Because it was time for it to be revealed, man. Thus said Yahweh Shema Shai, man. When Yahweh Shema Shai said, when Yahweh said, this day, hey, let the truth go forth, man. And it came through who? Our business, man. You cannot hide this, man. It is for the elect to be put in remembrance and to stand boldly as lions and proclaim destruction to your face. Not just you going to captivity, but rulership is going back right side up, man. What's that? Isaiah 25 and 7? The Lord is setting things in order, man. That's Psalms 50. He said he will reprove thee and set us in order before thine eyes, man. And this truth, as that Psalms 85 and 11, the truth shall spring out of the earth, man. As it says in 2 Ezra 6 and 28, man. And there's nothing you can do about it now but come down with wrath. This is Revelation chapter 12 and 9. It reads, and a great dragon was cast out, and that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. That was my title lesson earlier. He deceived the world with Christianity, man. Only dummies. You want to keep sleep with this madness. It's 2/3 of Jake and these heathens. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. You devils is hurt. All you have left is to come down with wrath. And I heard a voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night, man. Your job is to vex, destroy, and accuse, and to take many of us down as possible. But guess what? Hey, what the scripture say? You cannot deceive the saints, man. If it were possible, but it's not. But it's not, because this is not of men, man. It say, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they love not their lives unto death. That's why you're gonna have to run it, man. Whomever they elect the Israel is, whomever they are, man, you're gonna have to run it with them, man, because they ain't going, they ain't gonna comply. You're gonna have to run it, man. Hey, you're gonna have to do what you gotta do. But the elect of Israel, according to these scriptures, they ain't gonna go, man. You gonna have to do what you gotta do, man. And and you left to come down with wrath because all you got left is what? Hey, use the sword, man. Hey, nothing else is working, man. Hey, so going back right to Ezekiel 35. Let's read this. Ezekiel 35 and verse 10, right? It reads, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Right? This go back to Psalms 50, right? Let's read that. Hey, you devils, man. You have been found out, man. That's why Yahweh said in what's that? Jeremiah 49 and 10, I will make Esau bear. Hey, these scriptures have made you bear, man. Right? Second Thessalonians 2 and 8. It said by the Spirit of the Lord mouth, we consume these people, man. So you see what's going on is, hey, first come the truth, and then come the destruction. Then come destruction. First the truth. Hey, chanting down Babylon, man. As I was mentioning a while ago, the dream I had about the same way how Jericho and these guys walked around I mean man, I'm sorry, not Jericho, Joshua and the Israelites walked around Jericho, right? And then it fell. I had a dream about it, man. That hey, because I kept thinking about all the camps that's in. I'm just talking about North America. I ain't talking about the other GMS camps around the world. I'm talking about Babylon the Great, because this is going to be the most deliverance from here. That's why the Lord got caravans of Benjamites, caravans of Levites, caravans of Issacharites, caravans of Simeonites, caravans of Ephraimites coming here to North America, man. Right? Because this North America is just like Jericho, man. And all the camps that's surrounding Babylon the Great, we walking around this fucker. Walking around. Hey, and at a moment, it's gonna fall, man. That's what's going on, man. I had a dream. I had woke up out the tent. One of the brothers woke me up and said, hey, it's time. Hey, and I just woke up and got in formation, man. The brother was having that, brother was having that switch out. Everybody was watching. And we just walking around Babylon. I'm talking about all the camps in North America, man. Walking around North America until it failed, man. The Lord had them, had the trumpet to blow the trump, and the walls fell on this bitch, man. That's what's going on, man. North America is being trodden down by being chanted on, man, with truth, man. This is our Psalm 50 in verse 20. It said, Thy givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue framest deceit. Thy sittest and speakest against thy brother, thy slanderest thy own mother's son. Why? Because he is the accuser, man. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, as it just said in Ezekiel 35. Let's read it again. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thy eyes. Now, back in Ezekiel 35, said the same, this is the Lord playing chess with you dummies, man. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. So the Lord said in Psalm 50, thou thought that I was altogether such as one as thyself. You see, got you in a trick bag, man. Therefore, verse 11, therefore as I live, said the Lord Yahweh power, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy. Why you envy us? We on the bottom. Why you envying the Israelites? We on the bottom. You got this whole world to yourself. You got all the gold. You got all the silver. You got all the fatness of the earth, the best place. You living in palaces. And there's nobody living in your area. You got hundreds and hundreds of acres of land living in palaces. Why are you envying the Israelites? Because the elites know that we are the chosen peoples of the Lord, man. And they can't do nothing to get the birthright. Because it was never yours to be given in the first place, man. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh power, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. You hate us, man. And we know it. And we hate you too, man. We hate you Edomites too, man. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which I'm going to read in Revelation. All thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth have you boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. And thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate. So will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, which is the Greek word for Edom, if there's a newcomer, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. The Lord say, I have heard all your blasphemies. Let's read it. It's Revelation chapter 13 and 5. And it reads, and there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against power, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. You see? So they say, and all that dwell upon earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain before the foundation of the world. So your job is to vex, accuse, and destroy 2/3 of Israel and the rest of the world. And that's why I say in Isaiah 14, all the other nations is going to